Hey guys, I'm wanting to do a mini lesson on the book The Cool Bean, and as I'm reading I want you guys to be thinking about how you can make connections to the book, so text to self connection, and I also want you to be thinking about what you can learn from this story. Okay, so again, it's called The Cool Bean and it is written by Jory John and Pete Oswald. Watch out! Here come the cool beans. The cool beans. Oh yeah, check out how they move. Look at the way they swagger. Notice their sunglasses. Yeah! The cool beans are known all over school, from house to house, across town, beyond county lines. In the olden days, last year, we were all one big pot of beans. We were a mixed bag, but somehow it worked. Yep, those were the good old days. And then we stopped seeing each other as much. That's just how it is sometimes. You spend less time together, even though you're not totally sure why. I was able to make a text to self connection, so I'm connecting something I've experienced to the text. And when it talked about how they don't really get to see each other as much, it kind of made me think about this quarantine time that we're in right now and how we don't get to see each other as much, and it's just kind of been tough. So I kind of feel like he feels the same way. Things kind of changed and maybe he's not really sure why, and we're not able to do the things that we were able to do right now. So it's just been kind of tough for all of us. I watched as the beans I knew so well, the beans from my own pod, become the cool beans. Oh, they were so cool. One of them could play the guitar. Cool. One of them could draw the best superheroes. Cool. One of them could jump higher than any bean I'd ever known. Cool. So this guy here notices that the friends he thought he had aren't his friends right now. Me, well, I mostly stayed the same. Sure, I made some small changes. I wore sunglasses. I slicked my hair back. I strutted around. I swaggered. So I kind of noticed that he's trying to do some of the things that the cool beans are doing. And if you notice in the pictures, it's not quite working out for him. Seems to me that maybe he's trying to be something that he's not. I was still picked last for everything. My clothes never seemed to fit. I snorted when I laughed. I walked into stuff. I was an uncool bean for sure. I started thinking of myself as just a common bean with no special skills. I couldn't compete, so I didn't even try. I'd never be a cool bean. And I want you guys to think about a connection that you can make to the story so far, a text to self connection. Okay, so especially on this page here where maybe his clothes weren't fitting properly and people were laughing at him. I'm sure all of us have probably felt this at some point. So I want you to be thinking about how you can connect to the story. It seemed like there were two types of beans in the world. There were the cool beans and the beans like me. So I'm going to make an inference on this page here. And remember, when you're making an inference, you're looking at the illustrations and the words in the text to help you kind of think about how the character is feeling. So I am making an inference about this bean here, and I can tell that he's sad. And I know that he's sad because of his facial expressions. And it says, and then there were beans like me. So I can kind of tell that he's sad because he doesn't fit in with these beans. The days all blended together. I lived my life and things were just okay. I took tests and ate lunches and mostly kept to myself. The cool beans continued being cool. I mean, sure, I missed them a bit, but it's not like I was going to say anything. I felt like all that coolness had gotten in the way of our friendship. And that's how it went. Until one day. This is a good time for you guys to make a prediction. So I want you to think about what you think might happen. I know something is going to happen because it says until one day. So something changed. I want you to think about what might have changed. And remember, if you're making a prediction, it's okay if your prediction's not right. I was in the cafeteria. I dropped my lunch on my loafers. Oh no, not again. But then something sort of miraculous happened. Out of nowhere, one of the cool beans helped me clean it up. He didn't even say anything. He just gave me a nod. That was it. Later, I was out on the playground. I tripped and scraped my knee and maybe cried a little bit, and everybody saw it. Another one of the cool beans came to my side. And without a word, he dusted me off. I'm really noticing how these characters are changing. That afternoon, I was sitting in class. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't notice, but our teacher had called on me. Everybody stared. I sat there in silence. Nobody said anything. And then, everybody just laughed at me. That was it. After today, I was officially a has-been. You can tell he's really embarrassed. But then one of the cool beans stood up and came over to me. Everybody watched. She leaned in close and whispered, "Hey, the teacher asked you to read from page 32. Then she gave me a quick wink and went back to her seat. It was a small gesture, sure, but it was also everything. I walked home with a goofy smile on my face. I smiled all the way through dinner. That day made all the difference. It was a day that could have been really bad, if not for the kindness of a few cool beans. It gave me a shred of confidence. That shred of confidence has continued to grow. Somebody had my back, or a few somebodies. After that, I started hanging out with the cool beans again. How have you been? Get it? How have you been? Not all the time, but sometimes. At lunch, after school, and even on the weekends. Throughout all of this, I realized that it's not about how you look or any of that other silly stuff. It's about a wink or a nod or a smile at just the right moment. It's about dusting somebody off, helping them up again, and pointing them in the right direction. You need a hand? Yes, please. Now that's cool. So what I want you guys to do is, at the beginning of the lesson, I said to be thinking about what you can learn from this story. So what I want you to do is either write or draw about the moral or lesson, which is the theme of the story. So what is a lesson that you can take away from reading this book? Okay, so as soon as you finish your assignment, take a picture of it and have your parents either text it to me or put it on Dojo. Bye, guys.